Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. My name is Ash, aka Ghostbuster, and today I'm doing a review for the Game of Life 2 on Xbox. Now, if you don't know what the Game of Life is, it was a board game by Hasbro. It's been out for absolutely years, played by 50 million sort of families and friends all around the world, and it's one of my kids and my family's sort of favourite go-to games if you want to play a quick game. Now, for those who don't know how it plays, it's basically how it's named, the Game of Life. You start off with your little peg in a car, and you progress all the way through life to retirement. Along the way, you get jobs, careers, you have families, you have children, you buy houses, you make investments, you lose money, you do things, you have all that sort of stuff. And the end of the game is, once everyone's retired, you sort of see who's got the most money, and they win. Now, this Game of Life 2 is a modern spin on the classic game, with a variety of updates and improvements. Now, one thing I do like about this game, you can play it couch co-op with Pass the Pad, or you can play it online up to 4 players, and it also has cross-platform as well, so you can play with cross-play on people on different platforms, which is a nice little touch. Now, I've basically played this just with the family because I don't really see the point of me playing it online when I've got people in the room that want to play the game and have played the original. So we all jumped in and we had a couple of games of it. Now, there are new choices and new updates compared to the original. And like I say, the game itself looks great. It's low poly, but it looks really good. It really looks like the original sort of game. It has the peg style look to it and everything. Now, you get to sort of create your own custom character when you start the game. You can pick between a blue, pink, and a purple peg. So boys, girls, and those people that don't want to be defined by boy or girl. You are sort of, your outfits are then picked as well. So if you want to put yourself in a fancy dress costume, like I say, there's in the core game, you've got like a fantasy and a Halloween add-on included for free, so you can get like Frankenstein, Dracula costumes, as well as the normal outfits. You can get like elves, princesses, stuff like that, as well as different vehicles. Normally in the original game, it's just cars, but in this one, you have a variety of vehicles. Now, you spin the wheel basically, and you move the required amount of spaces, and each of the spaces basically represent a different thing. And as you progress through, like I say, it's very, very similar to the original game. There are some changes that I liked, some I did not like. So one thing I like that is a change from the original board game is you normally at the beginning of the game you can choose whether to go to college or just to go straight into work. Now if you go to college, it costs you some of your beginning money, but you do end up with a better job out of it, so eventually you do earn more money as you progress through the game. Now in this game that's there, but you also get like a further education later on, which you can then sort of gamble again and get an even better job for even more money. Now, the problem I found with this game is the better job you get, there are also now tax squares, which take a lot of money off you as well if you're unfortunate like me to land on them multiple times. Whereas in the original board game, there wasn't the tax squares. Another thing I like is the way the cars expand. Obviously on the original it's just little pegs on the board game, but in the game you start off with like a smaller vehicle, either a Vespa, a small car, something like that, and as you get married, add new members to your family, either pets or children, the car gets bigger and bigger, which I thought was a nice little touch. Now, another thing I didn't like about this game is every job you have has a lucky number attached to it, and basically if someone rolls that number, you get 50,000. Now, in the original game, you had to pay investments. You had to pay 50,000 to pick a number, and when anyone ever rolled that number, it increased its value as it went on. However, in this game, it's a set 50,000, but if someone else rolls that number, that 50,000 comes from them and not from the bank, which just seems a bit unfair, especially if you end up landing on it over and over again. It massively negatively affects other players and not just gives you a bonus, basically. Another thing I did like that was an addition in this game is not only do you have to collect money and like raise money to win, but you also have like life that you have to live to win as well. So there's knowledge, you have to gain knowledge, you have to gain treasures and wealth, and also sort of like experiences like family. And as you can see on the top left of the corner here, it shows like a love heart, a book, and a little piggy bank. As you progress through the game, you get cards or actions, or you get things that increase those numbers, and the person who has the most in each of those categories at the end of the game gets a bonus. So it's worth, yes, it's great keeping all your money, but if you spend some of the money you're earning on experiences as you're playing, because like when you land on the action squares, you'll have a choice of say versus someone else and the winner gets so much money, or spend 100,000 and went camping and you get 2 love arts or something like that. Similar things like that. If you invest in them early on, at the end of the game, you're going to get a big bonus. Another thing I like as well at the end of the game, when whoever gets to the end first, and in the order you get there, you still get money, so it is worth getting there first. But if you get there early, you then get the option to retire and keep spinning to either get a chance of more money or more experience items, which I thought was really good, because like it gives you a reason to still keep playing even though you've technically finished, so you're not sat there bored on your own, basically. Now, this is a really fun game. Like I say, you do also have the option to sort of skip through things. So like once you've seen people get married and you've had a child and you've gone to school, you can quickly skip through the animations provided. They are quite cute, they look quite good, but you do have the option to skip through them, which is a nice thing. As well as when there's movement, you can just push B and they sort of automatically speed up and get to where they need to go. Now, overall, like I say, this is a really good version of Game of Life. I really enjoy it. I like the majority of the changes. I like the look of it. I like the style of it. There are some negatives, like I've said, that it's not a perfect game. The spinner, it says press to spin, but you actually have to hold it down to get a good spin, because otherwise you end up getting the same thing over and over again. So when we started playing, about 4 spins on the trot, I just pressed A quickly, like it says to do, press A, and I kept landing on the same one. And then I realised if you hold it down, it spins it longer and makes it a bit more random as well. So go into it realising you've got to hold it down. Now, one other thing I like about it, as you can see on the screen at the moment, this is like the classic board, the standard sort of classic city. Now, there are 2 additional boards included with the game. This is Fairytale Kingdom and Haunted Hills, and these are obviously sort of fantasy based and horror based and stuff like that. They don't make a huge amount of difference to the game, other than when you land on like properties and stuff like that. They're all basically themed. Like in the spooky one, you can buy like a witch's hut for a house instead of a mansion and stuff like that, and they've done a good job with them. The only downside is there are more worlds available, but they're all locked behind a paywall. So there's a space one, there's a beach one, there's a frozen one, there's Land of the Giants, there's the Sweet Haven. So there's 5 extra ones that you can purchase. Now the problem is they're priced at £5 each separately, or you can buy the DLC at £16.74, which may not sound crazy, but the game itself is $19.99. Now, if you haven't got the game already, I recommend buying the Deluxe Life Bundle, which includes all of the content for an extra £5, so it's $24.99. So if you have the choice, I highly recommend that. I was sent a copy of this game by Marmalade Game Studio, the publisher, and I'm so grateful for it because it's a great game. However, I would love to just get the DLC, but I can't justify paying £17 nearly just for a variety of boards with some different costumes on, when it's the same base game. But if I was going to buy it up front, I would probably pay the $24.99. Now, I do wish this was a more unlockable in-game sort of currency. Unfortunately, it isn't. Each board, however, do have goals to get. So it's like get married so many times, do this so many times, do that so many times, and you collect puzzle pieces as you progress. When you get all of the puzzle pieces for each of these worlds, you do unlock new vehicles and costumes as well. So there's 3 boards included in the base game, so there's a lot of replayability there. The game itself is always fun and a laugh, but like I say, if you keep replaying through each of these 3 worlds, you're going to get more costumes and vehicles to be able to use in the games as well. Now, obviously, this also works on the extra 5 that are available as paid DLC. However, like I say, I wasn't able to try them. It wasn't included in my review copy, unfortunately. But looking at all the pictures online, I am very jealous because they look really, really cool and interesting. Now, like I say, the game is available right now, priced at £19.99. It's playable on Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S, and it supports smart delivery and is optimised for Xbox Series X and S. So overall, a really fun little game. Like I say, the core gameplay itself works really well. The upgrades and sort of modernisation of the classic board game, actually the majority of them work well. There's a couple that I don't prefer myself. However, like I say, it doesn't detract from the overall game. And actually, it's quite a fun little thing, and I'm looking forward to playing more of it, especially just to sort of mix up from just playing the standard board game to this. And obviously, the additional boards you can basically play on that are included do mix it up a little as well. So there's a lot of reasons to go back and play. It's also got online and online sort of cross-platform multiplayer as well, which is awesome. It's updated for sort of modern audiences, so you can play as male, female, they, thems, if that's what you'd prefer, like I say. And even when you get married and stuff like that, there's the more sort of male dominant costumes, there's the more female dominant sort of dress, and then there's the more sort of generic outfits that anyone could wear, basically. So you can pick and choose how you want to do it. And if you don't want to have kids to expand your family, you can just get tons of cats and pets, basically. So it covers all bases, and not in a woke way. Like I say, it doesn't sort of shove it down your face, but like when you get married, you want to marry a woman, you can marry a woman. You want to marry a man, you can marry a man. It doesn't matter. Like I say, it's a board game with little peg people, but it does give you that little bit of sort of choice and customization just to make everyone feel that included as well. But overall, like I say, there's some cool costumes you can unlock by just sort of completing these I say quests, they're just sort of like challenges by just basically playing like travel 30 spaces, travel this, do this so many times, do that so many times. And once you've got that done, like I say, extra content as well. So overall, really cool little game. Check it out, available right now on Xbox and other consoles. And that's that for this video, guys. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and we'll see you soon for more gaming content. Bye for now.